Panic alarms are ringing inside WNBA headquarters, and it's not because of a missed layup or another bad shooting night. It's because industry insiders are now seriously warning that 2026 could mark the end of CaitlinClark's tenure in the league. Yes, you read that correctly. Not due to injury, burnout, or retirement, but potentially because the league's internal missteps, labor tensions, and flawed business model could push its brightest star out the door. And the real panic? It's not coming from the players. It's coming from the front office, the media rights holders, the sponsors, and the stakeholders who realize just how fragile the league's sudden growth really is. The question is, can the WNBA survive if Clark walks away? Let's be blunt. Right now, all signs point to a storm brewing in 2026. That's when the current collective bargaining agreement, CBA, expires and both players and league executives know it's going to be a showdown. WNBA players are looking at the current explosion in ratings, attendance, merchandise, and national relevance, and they're asking a question the league isn't prepared to answer. Where's our cut? From their point of view, the rising popularity, fueled overwhelmingly by Clark's historic entry into the league, should come with a serious pay bump. Not a 5% raise, not a few more endorsement deals, a real shift from salaries of $150,000 to seven figures. The math, however, doesn't agree. A'ja Wilson, arguably one of the most dominant players in the WNBA, earns just over $200,000 a year. That's pocket change compared to male athletes, and even more insulting when you look at what Clark is bringing in terms of viewership and cultural relevance. And yet, that's the reality. The league's economics, despite the positive trend lines, still don't support millionaire salaries across the board. And the people inside the WNBA know it. But the players? They're tired of being told to wait. They believe they've got leverage. And to some extent, they do. The problem is that leverage might only work once. Use it now, like forcing a lockout or demanding major concessions in 2026, and the league might implode under the pressure. Cancel the 2026 season, and you don't just lose momentum. You lose the only player keeping the lights on. CaitlinClark isn't just another rookie phenom. She's the face of the league, the catalyst behind skyrocketing jersey sales, the reason ESPN cares about Tuesday night games in July. She's brought in more mainstream attention than the WNBA's seen in decades. But here's the danger. Clark also has options. Big ones. And none of them include staying in a league that can't guarantee fair compensation, labor peace, or a future worth building. That's where Unrivaled comes in. Co-founded by high-profile WNBA names, this new league isn't just a vanity project, it's a legitimate threat. Why? Because they're already offering top players more money for fewer games. They tried to lure Clark in with a $1 million-plus deal in her rookie year. Think that offer disappears by 2026? Not a chance. Unrivaled sees the same trends the WNBA does. Clark equals attention, which equals money. And if the WNBA loses her to a competing league or international play, it's not just losing a star. It's losing its entire growth engine. Here's where the panic deepens. Every expert watching this play out understands the stakes. The NHL, a far more established league, canceled an entire season in 2004 to 2005 due to labor disputes. It took years to recover, and they had TV deals, fan loyalty, and history. The WNBA has none of that. It has a rising star, a handful of household names, and a media surge that's mostly tied to one player. Take her out of the equation, and everything the league has built since 2023 could collapse like a house of cards. Look at the data. Attendance drops significantly at games where Clark doesn't play. Ratings dip when the Indianafever aren't on the broadcast schedule. This isn't a league thriving from top to bottom. It's a league riding the shoulders of one generational athlete. And she knows it. So do sponsors. So do broadcasters. But the WNBA leadership seems to be pretending like it still has the upper hand, that it can slow walk these CBA talks and come out ahead. Reality says otherwise. Right now, there's virtually no chance any major free agent signs a contract longer than 1 year. Why would they? With the 2026 CBA cliff on the horizon, everyone is hedging their bets. That means rosters will be unstable, planning will be impossible, and the product on the court could suffer as everyone positions for maximum flexibility. If negotiations fail and the season is cancelled, players like Clark don't need to wait for a resolution. They can take their talents and fan bases somewhere else, whether that's unrivaled, Europe, or even just sitting out to rake in endorsement money. Clark has choices. The WNBA doesn't. And that's the scariest part. The league acts like it's the NBA or the NFL, brands with massive infrastructure and decades of cultural weight. But it's not. It's still in the phase where one star can make or break its trajectory. Clark's influence goes beyond stats. When she's on the court, the league looks and feels professional. When she's not, it too often feels like a scrappy upstart still trying to prove it belongs. And unfortunately, the league's own veterans haven't made her path easier. From targeted fouls to cold media quotes, the vibe has not been warm and welcoming. That matters. If Clark feels disrespected by league culture and underpaid by league economics, then why would she stay? Unrivaled, on the other hand, is making all the right moves. Public raises, star-powered leadership, media partnerships, a message that says, "We'll treat you like the star you are." And while that might not last forever, startups are inherently risky. It doesn't have to. If they offer Clark millions for 2 years while the WNBA is in chaos, that might be enough to convince her to walk away. And once she's gone, what's left? A handful of good players, sure, but no transcendent figure, no ratings magnet, no merchandise machine. The idea that the WNBA will just find another Clark is fantasy. Generational stars don't arrive on command. The NBA waited years between Jordan and LeBron. And even then, those leagues had structure to survive the gaps. The WNBA doesn't. It needs Clark, more than it wants to admit. But instead of securing her future with a smart, flexible contract that reflects her value while protecting league sustainability, the WNBA appears willing to play chicken with its biggest asset. That's not just risky. It's reckless. Clark's not chasing attention. She already has it. She's not begging for money. She's earning it from sponsors and fans regardless of what the WNBA pays. She wants the one thing the league is failing to offer: stability, a vision, a plan that says, you are the cornerstone of this league, and we're going to build around you. Instead, what she sees is chaos, looming CBA drama, pay disparities, veteran hostility, and a fragile ecosystem trying to balance on her shoulders. When 2026 arrives and the WNBA hasn't locked her down or resolved its internal conflicts, she might not wait around. And she shouldn't have to. Whether it's playing fewer games for more money in Unrivaled, building her brand overseas, or simply focusing on off-court business that already pays more than her current salary, Clark will have options. Lots of them. Meanwhile, the WNBA will be left explaining to fans, sponsors, and networks why they let the biggest star in women's sports walk away during a preventable crisis. The math doesn't lie. Unrivaled is offering over $1 million. The WNBA max salary is under $250,000. Even a 50% raise doesn't close that gap. And the intangibles, like player treatment, schedule demands, and league respect, are arguably even more important. If Clark stays, it won't be because the WNBA made the best offer. It will be because she still believes in building something bigger than herself. But here's the problem. You can't sell someone a future if you can't guarantee there'll even be a season. And that's where 2026 becomes not just a crossroads, but possibly a dead end. If Clark walks, the sponsors lose interest, the networks stop paying premium dollars, the merchandise sales plummet, and the average fan tunes out. And if Unrivaled folds after a few seasons, Clark won't just walk back into a thriving WNBA. She'll return, if she returns at all, to a damaged brand, bitter labor memories, and a fan base that's moved on. That's the nightmare scenario. And the reason panic is the right word. Because this isn't about a slow start or a tough season. This is about losing the one player who made the WNBA part of the national sports conversation. And if she leaves because of mistakes the league could have prevented, the damage won't be temporary. It could be irreversible. So the question isn't just, will CaitlinClark still be in the WNBA after 2026? The real question is, will the league survive the consequences if she's not? The experts have their predictions. What's yours? Let us know here at Hollywood Buzzing.